Hello everybody, I am back today with a new video. Sorry I've been busy the last few months. I'm currently in the process of moving. This room is a mess. I didn't even try to set up the background. I am here to deliver to you today a bit of Gravity Falls content. If you don't know, the Book of Bill is coming out in a couple of days. You heard that right. If you didn't already know, Bill is nigh. He's coming back, and I'm very excited to receive this book. If you know me, have grown up with Gravity Falls since the first day it came out in 2012, honestly. I have not went a single year without watching the entirety of the franchise since 2012. So I had this fun little thought today while scrolling through Gravity Falls Stan Twitter, as one does when they're trying to solve the codes that are being leaked by the Oregon Forest Department. We love Alex Hirsch. I had the thought that I'm gonna film a tier list video like I did a few years ago, only this time for every episode of Gravity Falls. Because this is one of the few things that I am actually obsessed with, and it's a little bit concerning. Make a few small adjustments. There is 40 episodes here, so let's jump right into it. First and foremost, Tourist Trapped. I also am extremely obsessed with Tourist Trapped to the point where there was multiple years of my life where I could recite every word in Tourist Trapped and every scene, like what's happening, with like, I could just do it. It would just come out of me. It's easily a Bill was here for me. Like, I love Tourist Trapped. I think there's almost no example better of establishing characters and placing them in a world than what that episode manages to do. And that is what got me into Gravity Falls. It is that mystery cryptid vibe and supernatural vibe that really shaped me for the rest of my life and ended up putting me in a film degree, but also history with a focus in folklore. Like, it's actually insane how much Tourist Trapped affected my life, so it has to go in my S tier. Second up, we have Legend of the Gobblewonker. This isn't one of my favorite episodes. It establishes McGucket, and I love McGucket. Let me make that clear. But, I don't know, something about this episode, it feels a little flat. I think it doesn't... It explores a part of Gravity Falls that isn't as well known, and we never really go back there, so it ends up feeling kind of unimportant in the long run, I think. I think if it would have happened more in the middle of the season, it would have made more sense. Alright, next up we have Headhunters, which notoriously is the wax statues episode. Just because Sherlock is in this episode alone, it's enough to put it quite high for me, but the brilliant battle on the roof at the end, and the destruction, Mabel with her glitter, the axe, the interactions with the cops, it's just a really well-structured episode. It's also very funny. I think it's one of the best episodes. I would put it in A, I think. Okay, The Hand That Rocks the Mabel. We meet Gideon here. But that being said, it's not a super memorable episode for me. Like, I know everything that happens into it easily, but I think if I was watching Gravity Falls with fresh eyes, just like straight through, it's not really one that sticks into my head. The ending does, but the rest of the episode feels pretty forgettable. So I think I'd put it in D. Okay. The Inconveniencing. Guys, I loved this episode. So I became a massive Wendy stan when I was watching the show for the first time as it was still airing. And The Inconveniencing, also it's the first introduction of ghosts into Gravity Falls, which we get later on, obviously, with Northwest Mystery Mansion. But just ghosts in general is such a huge part of, I don't know, real world supernatural lore. Seeing it for the first time and getting the interaction with all the teenagers. I don't know, something about that episode hits so well for me. I love The Inconveniencing. I think at the very end of this, I'm going to go through and switch everything around to the order within the tiers. For right now, we're just placing things in the tiers. Episode 6, we have Dipper versus Manliness. I actually recently seen a thing on Twitter where a lot of people were putting DVM really low, and I like it a lot, and it's also one that my Disney channel tended to repeat a lot. It was one of the top. Versus Manliness and Carpe Diem were the two Gravity Falls episodes that my local Disney channel, for some reason, just looped a lot, so I seen them a lot as a child. That's so weird. Gravity Falls came out over 10 years ago. Oh my god, that's wild. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I would put it pretty high. Probably high B would be what I would guess. Alright, moving on. Like Double Dipper a lot, I think. I like Tyrone. And I like the killing them with the pit soda at the end. I think it's a really solid episode. Mabel's plotline's a little dull in this one. She's just fighting Pacifica and the dance party. I don't really remember what Stan is doing this episode besides making money off of throwing the party. I would put it C probably. Not incredibly memorable outside of the A plot, which I think Dipper's plot is really solid in this episode. Oh, Irrational Treasure. This one I could add to my list. It was Carpe Diem, Dipper versus Manliness, and Irrational Treasure. We got those 3 played so much. I think it's such a funny, what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a funny spin-off on, you know, obviously National Treasure and the Nicolas Cage-esque movies that we're all familiar with. A fun fact about that episode is I'm pretty sure that's the only episode where the Mystery Shack never appears. I could be wrong. I think it's that one. I don't know. Quentin Tremblay is a good character. The Peanut Brittle. I think that's a B episode for me. Time Traveler's Pig! Oh my god. This is an episode that I showed people a lot to get them into Gravity Falls, so I've seen this one so many times. Like, hundreds. You would think that would be an exaggeration or a joke, but it's really not, and that's absurd. I mean, it's a great episode. I think I'm almost burnt out on it, but time travel in general is just such a good topic for any show. I don't know. I'm tempted to put it in S, but I think I'm gonna put it in A. For the life of me, remember what Mabel's plot is in this episode. What is Mabel's plot? Oh! Okay. Yeah, Mabel's plotline is really weak in this episode. She's just doing the Stan montage in this one. Yeah. I think that brings it down a little bit. I might put it in low C, honestly. I think I like it better than Gobblewonker. I don't know, I might get some hate for that one, because I know there are some hardcore defenders of Fight Fighters, but I don't know, the B-plot is just incredibly weak in that episode. It's a funny B-plot, but it's not memorable, and it has no impact on the plot whatsoever to my memory. Little Dipper is kind of the opposite. It's very impactful to the plot of the whole show, not a super intriguing script, I would say. The drive is funny, the height difference, and the twins fighting, and the twins get closer in this episode, so I definitely like it more. But yeah, it's funny that that's next to that, because they're kind of opposite, in my opinion, in the way they're written and play out. I hit my light cord, I'm sorry. I just got very excited because episode 12 of season 1 is Summerween, which I think is a near perfect episode. I love Summerween. The Summerween Trickster is in my top 3 or 4 villains of the whole show. I love it. I love it so much. We get peanut butter and jelly Mabel. It's so good. We get Dipper fighting for Wendy, and we get the siblings bickering and coming together, and the Summerween Trickster, and Halloween themes in general is just my personal favorite thing in the world, which you'll see in my room tour I'm gonna be doing once I move out in the next couple weeks. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in A, but it's gonna go very high A for now, and next oh, Boss Mabel! I have weird opinions about this one. It's one of the few episodes I've seen the least, because my TV never aired it when it was still airing. I really like the villain in this episode, and he's a super forgotten villain in the scope of Gravity Falls itself. He is the goblin guy. Gravity Falls. I feel like everyone forgets this guy, so I'm gonna look him up. Yeah, the Grumboblin, thank you. Brain. He's this dude who you look into his eyes and you see your deepest fears. I think we should have gotten more of this dude. Dope design, cool characterization. I really, really loved him, and I don't think we got enough of this character. The episode itself is pretty solid, but not thrilling. I definitely think I need to watch it more. I think I've seen it, like, there's certain episodes I've seen so much, and certain episodes that I've literally seen, like, only 10 or 20 times, and Boss Mabel is one of those. I think I'd put it in really low B, high C territory, probably. Okay, next up we have season 114, which is Bottomless Pit. And this is my take. I don't like the anthology episodes. I don't really know the correct term to put here right now, but there's 2 of these. Obviously each season has one, and they're the episodes that just throw together different stories. And I don't remember if Alex and the fandom considers them canon. I don't think they are. I think the characters in them are canon, but the events aren't canon because the Hand Witch exists elsewhere, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I hate when any show does this, really. I think they're fun stories. They definitely seem like, you know, they should have been a graphic novel release after the show. Like, I'm happy we have them, but they don't add anything to the show for me. And I'm a big lore girly. Like, it's in my DNA. I participated in Cypher Hunt, if any of you are, like, hardcore Gravity Falls fans and know what that even means. So we have the Deep End, which is a more Mabel-heavy episode, which we don't have a ton of in season 1. What is Deep End, Gravity Falls? Oh, Dipper's just chasing Wendy in this episode, right? Around the pool. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun episode. Doesn't have a lot of weight. Probably put in C. And just keep in mind for this whole video, nothing is bad on this list. I love every episode. I'm just ranking them comparatively. I do a similar thing whenever I talk about my rankings for Marvel. Like, I have a lot of Marvel movies in my Marvel tier list that are in, like, the C and D area, but I think almost every Marvel movie in the scale of, like, normal rankings is, like, a B+, if that makes any sense. And that's kind of how I'm thinking about it here as well. Carpe Diem is next. I really like Carpe Diem. I like body switching trope. I don't like it as much as time travel trope, though, so I think it's gonna go high B. Yeah. And the switcheroos there, and Zeus being Waddles, I don't know, it's good. Oh! My favorite thing from this episode is, once again, such a small thing, but we see Stan pick up Ford's glasses from the room when Dipper breaks in, and I think that's such a good, like, obviously the show is known for Alex building in so much to be paid off later, but that's just such a small one that just, it means so much when you know, looking back, that, like, he got into that room and that was Ford's glasses, and it's so cute, I love it. Boys Crazy. Episodes that, due to, like, censorship things and other just stuff that happened, I'm not too familiar with, that some episodes just didn't air that often, if at all. Boys Crazy is one of those. I think I saw it televised once ever, and then I pretty much never saw it again until Disney Plus released it like 2 or 3 years ago, which is so strange. Oh, I should also probably mention that I, growing up, had all 40 episodes saved to my DVR. I had all 40. It was the only show I ever did that for. I had every episode DVR saved, so that I never seen that often. I don't know. But having seen it since, it isn't great. Yeah, this is the Dipper being, or not Dipper, this is the Wendy being mind-controlled episode, which is big douche energy. Probably into my mid-tier, which I'm considering just C at this point. Land Before Swine. So I grew up with Land Before Time, right? My brain just died. Is that the dinosaur, the little dinosaurs? Ducky and such? Is that? Time. Yeah! I grew up with these! Whoa. Was this before my time? Yeah, 80s. We had these on VHS growing up, so I grew up with that, which makes this, I don't know, feel more special. Also, the design and the actual animation in this episode is so top tier. It's a very high ranking for me, definitely in the A's. Yeah, I don't remember the animator's name, but I know that this was one of the episodes that Alex had he's considered like one of the best animators for like smooth animation like of all time, and he works for Disney, and I know he helped with a portion of this episode. And then the character design and the color contrast in this episode is also especially good. This is also when we start to see more in-depth of, I think, Stan's personality, which Stan ends up becoming one of my favorite characters. Ford is one of my favorite characters later on, obviously, so I really like that. Up next we have Dreamscapers, which, coming right after Land Before Swine, seeing it in that context, I think is really solid. I don't know if I can separate those two. And then that's also one that has really good design and world building and contrast and color. Bill's obviously in it, so it's gotta be up there. I think those two are almost inseparable. That being said, Gideon Rises being right after the finale of Season 1, I don't think I like the finale of Season 1 as much as I like Dreamscapers. Obviously they're connected in major ways. I mean, the ending is amazing. We do get this. We do get that. See, I never loved the big animatronic thing. Like, I like FNAF-style animatronics like we get with Zeus later on with the Giffany episode, but this kind of thing, I don't know, never really is my favorite type of trope in anything, like the big monsters sort of thing. Even in Weirdmageddon, like, I get the references and I get the tropes they're going off of, but it's never quite my thing. I much prefer true cryptid and supernatural style things. So I don't know, I'd put it in low B, probably. Yeah, that feels right. I don't know why my battery just took so long to charge, like genuinely 3 hours? I don't know what's up there, but we're back and continuing on with the second half of the tier list, aka season 2 of Gravity Falls. Starting off so strong with the return of Scarioki, which is, I think, one of the best episodes in Gravity Falls. I mean, the zombies, we get the introduction back to the special agents. I really like Scarioki. I have really, like, back and forth opinions on all of season 2. I think it is so much better in some ways, and yet missing just a little tiny bit of the nostalgia that season 1 has for me. Into the Bunker. This might be S tier for me. I don't know, something about it just hits every spot perfectly. It's the like Scooby Gang also, like going out, solving a mystery together in their crew. It's a Wendy heavy episode. They're solving like the physical mysteries, they're discovering truths about the author, things heavy with the plots they're coming back in. I really like Into the Bunker. Definitely an S tier. Gulf War I watched very recently, like 2 days ago. Good cameos, funny, a good time all around, really, but I mean, not one of my favorite episodes. I know a lot of people ship Dipper and Pacifica. I never have. I like Pacifica, but I don't ship it. And yeah, it's a Pacifica heavier episode. I'd probably put it in D. I enjoy the episode, but it's not one of my favorites. Similar opinions about Sock Opera. I love the Bill elements. I think Bill possessing Dipper is the highlight of that episode. Other than that, it's probably a C tier episode for me. Susan the Real Girl. The Five Nights in Freddy's episode. I will die on that hill. Some people still deny that. You can't tell me otherwise, especially when it was coming out, 2016, right? I mean, what a time, like, what an homage in our timeline that will make no sense in 10 years, you know? Like, such a weird timeline we're living in, guys. I like Zeus and the Real Girl. Giffany's fun. Putting her in B tier. Little Gift Shop of Horrors, I'm gonna throw right next to Bottomless Pit. Same reasons. Okay. Society of the Blind Eye. If you haven't noticed yet, the things with the lore rank pretty highly on my list, and having said that, S tier. Easily. Society of the Blind Eye is by far one of the best episodes in the whole show. It's beautiful. I love it. We learn so much in that episode. We get to feel how Gravity Falls is and what it would be like in the world. It's, for a cartoon, it's insane. Like, no other cartoon feels that way to me, except for, like, maybe BoJack, and not at all in the same way. Like, even other fantasy shows, like, I don't, what's a good example? Like Disenchantment. Disenchantment has a very big world and it's very fleshed out, but it just kind of feels like every other fantasy world, you know? Especially with, like, the steampunk stuff they added in the later seasons. Gravity Falls is just so succinct, and with the books and external things that add into the lore, it's just, those lore episodes, they just make it what it is. It's a little better than I remember it being. I like timeliney stuff. It's not as good as Time Teller's Pig. I'll put it in B. Love God, similarly to the Boys Crazy episode, didn't air much for similar reasons, I'm pretty sure. I've only seen it like 10 or so times. It's better than the other one. We get I Eat Kids, or whatever the line is in this one. Honestly, I might put it in B. Just for that one scene. And then the Tambray Robbie thing is cute. I really enjoyed that. Okay, Northwest Mystery Mansion. So I love Okay, that one's also, this is the other ghost episode, and I don't know, the lumberjack ghosts and the setting, the scenic design in this one's really solid. I like the girls' story plot in this one. They're funny. The outfits are good. This might be an A. I think I'm gonna put an A. Okay, it's gonna go up there. Okay, Not What He Seems is the Stan episode before Tale of Two Stans, right? Yes, okay. What happens in Not What He Seems? I know it's the one where they're finding out about Stan. In my brain, that's just one episode, but obviously it's not. I think it's an S tier, guys. Like, when are we gonna get stuff like this in a cartoon ever again? I trust you? Yeah, I think Not What He Seems is definitely an S tier. Similarly, Tale of Two Stans is so weird because I remember exactly where I was in the world when I seen it premiere for the first time, and that was after like a long break of them. I think that's when they split the seasons, and oh my god, I was in Duluth on vacation in 8th grade. That's when that came out. I'm graduating college. What is this life? I'm gonna put it high A, I think. It's just so different from everything else, and I really like it. Very rarely can a show pivot so hard, and it's just as good. I think Tale of Two Stans is amazing. Dungeons, and more dungeons. It's so sad because I'm moving right now, so nothing's out. Oh, well, okay, it's dark. But this is a Caleb from Critical Role poster. This whole wall is Critical Roles and D&D stuff. I'm a big D&D fan. That being said, I don't think Dungeons, and More Dungeons is the best episode. It's hilarious, and it gets its points across, but it feels like it should have been an early season episode. Does that make sense? It feels like it should have been, like, in that first 8, and not after all the big things that happened. It definitely, like, took that step back. Honestly, it might be a C. No, I'm looking what else is in here. It's a B. Yeah, it's not down here. It's a B for me. Okay, next we have the Stan Churian Candidate. One of the weakest episodes in all of Gravity Falls, I think. I think I would put it in D. Another one that just didn't air a lot for me, but I don't think it's that good either. Yeah, I mean, I like the intro of this episode. I don't love the rest of it. And then it definitely didn't, I wouldn't say it aged poorly, but just the topic in general is just hard when you're ranking against fun supernatural things to then go into like a heavy children's politics episode. I don't know. It's good, but it doesn't hit like these up here, you know? Okay, the last Mabel corn. I obviously remember what Mabel did here. We're gonna check in with Dipper quick, because I know he's with Stan and they have their bonding moment in this episode. Yeah, okay, it's the in his head, learning the secrets and stuff. I wouldn't say it's as good as the other things in S tier. I like the ending with Mabel defeating the unicorns. I think this might be high B for me. I'm good with that. Roadside Attraction. There's 3? Did I, like, black this out in my brain somehow? What's the difference between Bottomless Pit and Roadside Attraction? Are they purely different? Because Roadside Attraction is the one with the puppets, right? And this one has Handwitch? Have I never made this connection before? And really, in between those is Mabel corn? I've been obsessed with the show for so many years, and I feel like I've never put that together. Dipper and Mabel versus the future. Okay. I think that's an S tier. I mean, the twins' conflict is kind of everything. I love that closeness they share, especially in the last episodes. I mean, I don't think I really need to justify that one. It's clearly an S tier episode. And then we get into Weirdmageddon, guys. I'm like crashing throughout this video because I'm just so emotionally attached to these characters. We have Weirdmageddon 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if it's weird to say I didn't love the finale, because I did love the finale. It's just like, I mentioned before I don't like those like big monster fighting-y things, and that is kind of how the whole show ends. But I think the circle summoning with Bill and the last 2 minutes of them leaving on the bus, like that alone puts Ep 20 into S tier. I cried my eyes out, like sobbed to episode 20. Episode 2 is the one with Mabel's court, but I don't like that episode as much. I'm definitely a Dipper girl, if you cannot tell. Like, I love Mabel dearly, but I think that's probably, not C, it's probably B. And then Wyrmageddon Part 1, like, that shook everyone to their core. Like, the intro changing, Bill destroying the towns, and briefly thinking certain characters were, like, actually dead. I mean, high A, probably. Yeah, I'd say that works. And then, guys, I think this is our list. And spend 2 or 3 minutes going through here and finalizing my things within the ranks. And then I'll come right back and we will discuss final results. Okay, I'm back, and I think this is my final ranking for all of the Gravity Falls episodes. I will say that these bottom 3 are all kind of tied for me. I don't have a huge sway anyway between these 3. I think they're all just fine. I don't care for any of these 3 that much. But of these, I think this is pretty much my solid list. My tops would be, from least to best, of the S tier: Dipper and Mabel versus the Future, Wyrmageddon Part 3, Into the Bunker, Tourist Trapped, Not What He Seemed, and Society of the Blind Eye. And I will say I have this weird part of me that almost wants to move Wyrmageddon, like, way to the top, even though I put it back here, but it kind of feels like that Endgame Infinity War thing in my brain where, like, I think it's so much better, and it is in a lot of ways, but it's the finale, so it holds this weight that I think is uneven when you're ranking things somehow. I think, like, as story pieces, Society of the Blind Eye, Not What He Seems, Tourist Trapped, Into the Bunker, even Dipper, Mabel versus the Future, like, those are all the key episodes for, like, the whole show, you know? Like, those 5 really solidify what Gravity Falls is. A couple other ones do too in here, but they just don't meet my criteria quite as much. But yeah, guys, the Book of Bill comes out so soon, and I am not getting paid by Alex Hirsch. I wish I was, but if you check it out and you find anything cool, hit me up, because I'd love to talk about it, like, genuinely. And I'm moving. I'm going to California for 2 weeks for work, randomly. Then I'm starting my last semester of college, and I'm going to Massachusetts later this year for a bucket list item that I might vlog a little bit. So, stay around, stay cool, stay spooky. See you next time.